Live from the Consular Studios in Nassau, Bahamas, this is Bahamas at Sunrise. And now your hosts, Ramon Ferreira and Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning, Bahamas. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise on a cool Friday morning.
It certainly is. The weather is fantastic. I'm certainly enjoying it, Rumi. I hope you are too. I'm Anastasia Palacios, and it is a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Yeah, and this is good cuddling weather. But despite how you may be tempted to cuddle, get out of bed because you got to get to work, my friend. And if you're watching Bahamas at Sunrise, of course, we are so happy that you decided to make us a part of your morning as you have been doing, and you definitely will not regret it this morning.
You certainly will not. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you because, of course, it is a fabulous Friday and the weekend is just around the corner. We'll be speaking with the One Eleuthera Foundation this morning and learning more about the Eleuthera Games. It's going to be an interesting segment. You want to stay tuned for that.
Anytime my co-host says fabulous Friday, think synonym, think freaky. Freaky, fabulous Friday. All things are going to happen great for you today. We're going to speak with representatives from the Ministry of Social Services. We're going to talk about a subject that certainly is very important to me, and it's about caregivers and the fact that sometimes caregivers neglect themselves. And so this is a very important topic, particularly if you find yourself in that situation.
Yes, it certainly is. And before we get to any of that, the man that has brought us Frosty the Snowman long after the holidays, we now turn things over to our weatherman, Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First in Insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star. Good morning, Mohammed. Your first look at weather sunrise. Yes, not cuddling weather. It's going to be a freaky weekend because we have a strong cold front moving over northern Florida that should move into the extreme northwest Bahamas by late this afternoon into nighttime hours, and no problems by tomorrow. But before that, we have some pre-frontal activity that will cause heavy showers and thunderstorms, could cause flooding in low-lying areas, and also those winds can start gusting to gale force by afternoon. So we're asking all boaters to remain in port and all swimmers to stay out of water. We're asking residents to travel safely this evening because you can need your rain gear this afternoon, and by weekend, not Frosty Snowman yet. By Sunday into Monday, you need those big jackets and blankets because of the cold air that's going to come down with it. But for the next couple of days, those winds will be blowing up to gale force winds. So we're asking, like I said, small craft operators and boaters to stay in port. In your radar, you can actually see all the showers and thunderstorms moving from the Gulf of Mexico ahead of that front sister pre-fall activity, and also the line of showers and thunderstorms that's proceeding with that cool front. And then your surface chart, you can actually see the cold front moving across the northern part of Florida towards us this time. And your satellite picture is showing a whole lot of clouds, particularly with the extreme northwest Bahamas. Most activity happened during the morning and early afternoon hours, no problems by late afternoon and nighttime hours. In your weather today, we're looking at cloudy, but overcast, with heavy showers and thunderstorms, strong winds over the northwest and central Bahamas, in particular over the extreme northwest Bahamas, high temperature reaching 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, another cloudy and overcast night and windy with scattered showers and heavy thunderstorms, particularly over the extreme northwest Bahamas. Your low temperature going down to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados, 83 and 76. In Jamaica, 86 and 74. Trinidad, 87 and 73. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 81 and 75. Across North America, Atlanta, 43 and 32. In Raleigh, 33 and 33. In Miami, 75 and 60. Dallas, Texas, 49 and 28, and Toronto, Canada, 27 and 16. And if I have a look, we expect the showers to taper off by tomorrow morning. Those winds will persist through Sunday. Strong winds today and tomorrow. And we're asking, like I said again, I'm going to repeat this, small craft operators to stay in port over the next 48 to 72 hours, and also swimmers out of the sea. And then those temperatures will dip during Sunday into the lower 70s daytime and the low to mid-50s at nighttime through Tuesday. That puts a wrap on your weather, the first look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want First Response on your side, call 32-FIRST or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First Response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
The beauty of Bimini is seen all around.
The beauty of Bimini turns people into friends.
And friends into family.
It's soothing. It's healing.
The beauty of Bimini keeps our guests coming back.
It's in the faces of our people. It's the people.
The people.
The beauty of Bimini is people to people.
Welcome back to the show on this frosty Friday morning. I am very happy because I am about to interview one of the people that is behind one of the greatest islands in this archipelago. With 22 settlements, 3 airports, and some of the most dynamic history in our country, Eleuthera is certainly a very special island. What can I say? I'm biased. My mom is an Eleuthera woman, and this morning we're talking about the One Eleuthera Foundation. With me to talk about the One Eleuthera Foundation and the upcoming Eleuthera Games is Mr. Tony Crean. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Morning.
So, Mr. Crean, I want to find out from you, what is the mission of the One Eleuthera Foundation?
It obviously would be better. I'm not on their staff. They had some problems getting one of their staff here this morning.
Okay.
But it came out of, actually the genesis of it was an environmental group.
Okay.
And they wanted to expand into wellness, small business, sports, healthcare, etc., etc.
Okay.
So they've been in existence a few years now. It's headed by, the CEO is Sean Ingram.
Okay.
And he has a staff. They've recently purchased the Rock Sound Club.
Okay.
Which they're renovating, and a lot of young people are being employed there. They're learning carpentry, masonry, electrical, plumbing, the technical vocational side of things. And I think they come out of there, they're partnering with BTVI.
Okay.
But one of their, they want to push is wellness and healthcare.
Okay.
And we have a terrible number of clinic visits in Eleuthera, 26,000 clinic visits in Eleuthera, which is more than Abaco, Andros, Exuma, and Grand Bahama combined.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yes.
And we know that the numbers of breast cancer in Eleuthera is incredibly high as well.
Yes, cancer is a curse in Eleuthera.
Yeah.
So the Cancer Society is a very vibrant society. And the idea is we want, if you go up and down Eleuthera now, maybe when your mum was in Eleuthera, the parks were full of kids.
Right.
The courts were full of children. You go up and down now, you don't see the children on the courts, you don't see the children on the fields, you know what I mean? Eleuthera is traditionally the home of softball.
Yeah.
But you go in Governor's Harbour, you go in Point, you go, in Rock Sound, perhaps I'm not there too often. You don't see the children actually on the fields participating, hitting a ball,
And all of that keeps children energized but healthy and well.
Exactly.
Right.
And once you get into activity, it tends to, especially in sports, it stays with you for life. You get a love of it, and you don't really go away from it.
No.
So One Eleuthera has partnered with Mr. John Butler. He's on his way to a funeral, unfortunately, this morning. But I partnered with a One Eleuthera Games Committee.
Okay.
And we want to put on a games this summer, just as school's closing on the 25th of June. The activities are These are male and female.
Okay.
Basketball, volleyball, track and field, tennis, softball, sailing, swimming. They're both genders.
Okay.
And then baseball for men,
Okay.
soccer for men, and then recreational sports. So we try and encompass everybody.
Okay.
We're going to have darts and dominoes.
Dance.
Darts
and dominoes.
Darts
as well.
and dominoes,
Okay.
yes. And then on the opening ceremony, because we're splitting the island into 3 competitive units: north of Glass Window Bridge,
Okay.
and Glass Window Bridge down to Savannah Sound,
Which is central.
and then Tarpon Bay south.
Okay.
And then the north includes Spanish Wells,
Okay.
Ann Harbour Island, and Current Island.
Okay.
But the opening ceremony on the 25th of June, we're hoping those 3 areas will come up with their own mascot.
Okay.
We have a logo competition closing today.
Okay.
So we're going to pick a winning logo for the whole games. But each area, we want to bring a logo and a Junkanoo piece
Okay.
and their band, because
Okay.
Junkanoo is very vibrant on the island right now. We just won the primary and the high school division
Awesome.
down here in
Junior
Nassau.
Junkanoo Parade. I
Junior
remember that.
Junkanoo,
Okay.
that's right. And the Junior Junkanoo Parade is actually next week in Eleuthera.
Okay.
So we want them to bring their Junkanoo bands. We're going to start with a sailing regatta,
Okay.
riding Governor's Harbour on the 25th of June.
Okay.
And it's going to run through the Independence weekend.
So I just want to find out now. I know we're talking about boys and girls. Have you set aside age ranges of what you want participating? Will it start from 12 or 15?
Yes, we have 4 age groups that
Okay.
we're really targeting. 8 to 12,
Okay.
13 to 15. Well, 8 to 12 is primary. 13 to 15 is we don't have junior highs in Eleuthera, but the
Okay.
junior high
Okay.
age group. 16 to 18 is senior high group, and then 19 an open category.
Okay.
So we have four categories.
So that means that some people who are a bit older can participate as well.
Exactly.
Excellent. So this
Exactly.
is really an opportunity for all of Eleuthera to come together through the activity of sport to create good recreation and something to do on the island.
That's right.
And then if we wanted to come in from the capital and go down and see how that's going, I'm sure we could come in as well, right?
You can come in, but you
We
can't
can-
take part.
We can't participate, but we
Correct.
can observe.
Yeah, you can observe, you can't take part. 'Cause what we don't want to do is, children come on the island for their summer holidays, and so I could play.
Yeah.
We're going to reserve it for residents
Okay.
of Eleuthera and for people in full-time education that are off the island.
Okay.
Whether they're Christina Knowles is running, or Kiana Albury's up at Penn State, they could come
Okay.
home and they can compete.
Okay.
'Cause they've left to pursue full-time education.
Okay.
But not just people coming in to,
Yeah.
to
don't-
play basketball
yeah.
or to sail or
You
play
really want it to be
tennis.
something for the islanders
Yeah,
themselves.
4 people on Eleuthera.
Now, just a question then. We talk about north, central, south, and you talk about the fact that you want these areas to come up with a mascot. How do people get involved? Do the schools have the information? How would they register?
The logo competition, that was sent to the high schools.
Okay.
We didn't restrict it to the high schools, but that's our line of communication.
Okay.
So we're hoping that we have some results there. We already have 1 or 2 ideas.
Okay.
We assume that the mascot for the island will incorporate somehow the pineapple,
Right.
which is the symbol of Eleuthera,
Yeah.
symbol of friendship too. And that we've already at a meeting we've had a couple, 2-3 meetings now.
Okay.
One in the first one that Eleuthera Foundation were heavily involved in, was very, very well attended.
Okay.
All of the presidents of the associations, they came out.
Awesome.
A lot of interested people in sports. We have a couple of sports officers in Eleuthera who are involved. So we chose an executive committee from the whole island.
Okay.
And the colours have already been assigned.
Okay.
So it's green in South Eleuthera, orange, and these are the colours of the pineapple, of course. Green in South Eleuthera, orange in Central Eleuthera, and yellow in North Eleuthera.
All right, I gotta rock my yellow. I'm biased. I'm a northern girl.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, I want to just, before you go, I want people to know how they can reach you. I'm sure we have tons of people that watch Eleuthera, and I want to say good morning to my settlements up north, the Bluff and the Bogue, and all of the Neelys and Johnsons up there. But how can people reach you and the One Eleuthera Foundation for more information?
We're actually right at this moment, and for the next few weeks, I'm down here doing some medical treatment.
Okay.
But just about everybody in Eleuthera knows how to get hold of me.
Okay.
And Mr. Butler is very well known. Mr. Butler is the chairman. I'm the general secretary.
Okay.
And then we, as I say, we've appointed, I have a list here somewhere, we've actually appointed executive people like David Armbruster in the Bugs that you're talking about, Andrew Johnson, Tiny in Harbour Island, Delano Cartwright in Spanish Wells, in the central area, Laura Culmer, Andre Butler, who was formerly softball and basketball president. In the south, Johnny Butler's from the south. Shannon McKinney, and then we have a youth and sports officer in Tarpon Bay, Clara Young. And Miss Bertram in Governor's Harbour. So we have people from all over the island.
All over the island that you can reach out to. And of course, One Luther Foundation is online. You can find them there as well. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Welcome.
And I'm looking forward to hearing more about the games and hopefully being able to come down for the weekend.
We're hoping, the numbers we're looking at right now, we think we're going to have between 15 and 1,600 people taking part. And because 3 of the age groups are school children, perhaps up to 1,200 children.
So this is going to be awesome. You want to stay tuned for more information from the One Luther Foundation. And of course, you can find them online. Thank you for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
The government is implementing CCT, the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, which is proving successful in our region. CCT is a new exciting form of social assistance to help Bahamians break free of the poverty cycle with dignity. CCT provides a cash benefit and many more with an emphasis on improving the health and education of our families. CCT has the advantage of transparency, improved targeting, automation, better monitoring, better processing, improved service, improving client dignity. Call the Social Safety Net hotline at 397-8628. The Department of Social Services. Together we rise.
Inspiring you, sustaining you, empowering you to rise.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Family members or friends or anybody, any kind of loved one who has to look after a relative or a friend or a loved one is kind of a reciprocity in there. For whatever reason, advanced age, dementia, sickness, a company called a caregiver, they have their own sets of challenges. And here this morning to offer hope to that select few within our society is Salome Gibson. She's the Assistant Director from the Department of Social Services, and Dr. Michelle T. Grant, who's the Chief Welfare Officer in the Ministry of Social Services. Ladies, welcome.
Good morning.
To Bahamas at Sunrise. This is a very important topic, as we were saying offline. So let's bring our viewers into the discussion, so to speak, and let's talk about a caregiver. When we talk about caregivers, who are we talking about?
Well, a caregiver can be actually a family member or somebody the family has employed.
Yeah.
Or, of course, you have caregivers in institution also. But, when we focus this morning, we're talking about caregivers, more the families or the persons at home.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who experiencing all the burden. And we have to be very, very careful when you have to take care of somebody, especially somebody who doesn't have a lot of support.
Sure.
The focus is so much on the patient, or, they forget about themselves.
Yeah.
And all their focus is then on what they can do for this person. We have incidents where you have family members where everything falls back on one particular person.
Sure.
And this person feel like, hey, it's my obligation to take care of my relative, and they don't even want to ask for help.
Pardon me?
They don't want to ask for help.
It's interesting because there's a lot of frustration that happens there. Mm-hmm. Like persons are there and they're saying, I have to take care of this individual, sometimes suddenly. So you can have a situation where people have Alzheimer's or dementia, right, and that kind of creeps up on them.
Right.
You can have people growing old, geriatrics. Right. Obviously, that's the trips around the sun, progression of time. Or it can happen in an instant.
Right.
Someone can be a victim of crime and be paralyzed.
That is,
traffic.
Yes. That is very true. Because even with, we have a lot of gunshots.
Sure.
And I could tell you of incidents where, where a mother has to take care of her son. And you know, here it is. This person might have been the breadwinner in the house.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden he's paralyzed and he can't do anything for himself. You know how difficult that must be. Number one, to see your child in the midst of his living, I should say, in his early 20s. Now he's paralyzed and can't do anything for himself. So it's very difficult for her, and she wants to do everything for her child.
Well, you know something, Salome Gibson, it's one of those things where you want to do everything, but boy.
You know, but what I'm trying to say is, as a caregiver, you have to be careful. Of course, you want to be there for your loved one and you want to be there to help them, but you have to also be prepared to take care of yourself.
Sure.
Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to help your loved one.
You know,
so we're trying to say that you need to take time out to pamper yourself and ask for help if you need it.
Now, Dr. Grant, a lot of things came up right there. Because sometimes, well, I'm talking from personal experience now.
Right.
Sometimes in taking care of yourself, you feel guilty. You feel as if you ought to deprioritize yourself in some way, negate yourself, and stay focused on the cause. Do you see a lot of that? And caregivers, I guess, remorse or guilt?
We see a lot of that with our relatives. In the psychiatric setting particularly, we find relatives who, when we ask them to come in, you know, they feel guilty about you know, having their loved ones institutionalized. But we recognize too that they're frustrated. You know, they go through a lot dealing with the clients. So sometimes I tell them, I say, if you need support, come in and see us. We have family support group, we have individual therapy, family therapy that we can offer when you're going through these frustrations. You know, so we try to be there to support them as much as possible.
I think that it is so important to let people know that you offer the support. How can they be a part of that?
Yeah, we have a family support group at Sandilands for those persons who they don't have the patient. It doesn't have to be an inpatient. They can be outpatient. And we have a group Wednesday evenings, 5:30 to 6:30. So they can feel a part right there at Sandilands. They can come and they can call Health Social Services at 364-9670. And, you know, they can attend our family support group. We have community counseling and assessment center in the community as well. They also provide counseling, you know, individual and group. And it's good sometimes to have the group, you know, counseling, because you talk to other persons who are experiencing what you are, and they can help to direct you into places where you can get the resources or the help that you need. And you can hear how they experience their challenges and how they can overcome some of the challenges that they have as well.
You know, with that, I think it's important to recognize some of the symptoms of burnout. I put that in inverted commas. What are some of the symptoms?
Oh, feeling fatigue, because you're so consumed with taking care of that person. You're tired even after a long night's rest. You find that you're tired. You're socially isolated. Some persons turn to alcohol or they over-medicate. You know, they become very irritable, you know. Negative attitude. Sometimes they want to hurt the loved one because they're so frustrated. So that leads to either elder abuse, child abuse, you know.
The social isolation, how does that present?
Yeah, they withdraw themselves because they are so consumed with caring for that person, you know.
It's interesting stuff. And this is a segment of our population, and there are people that are listening to us right now that fall into that category, that are actually caring for someone.
That is very true. That's very true. And, you know, back to what you said a little earlier about them feeling guilty. And that's the whole purpose of us. I mean, that's one of the purpose of us being here this morning, to let people know you don't have to feel guilty. It is very challenging when you have to take care of your loved ones. So, you know, you have to ask for help. You know,
I think what happens sometimes is they ask for help from relatives and don't get it. Or they get lots of excuses. And then also, you know, you ask for help for this moment, but really it's every day, every day, every day. I mean, how do you get around that?
But you contact your social worker. We can direct you to other avenues. We are a religious institution. Talk to persons in your church. Talk to your pastor. You know, try to find some other outlet or talk to somebody who you know cares or who you trust. You know, there are other resources out there that you can use. If you don't want to talk to a professional, you can speak to a trusted friend or family member.
Sometimes you feel like it's a secret. Like it's
that
a burden.
That is very true. You know, sometimes people don't want other people to know. because we at Talents, we also have a day patient program.
Okay.
You know, that you can bring your psychiatric patient, your relative, up there just for the day. And we have, especially at Robert Smith Ward, where we have kids with mentally challenged and physical challenge. You know, they could come up there as a day patient and they stay on the ward. At least give the caregiver a break.
Give them a break.
There are some resources out there, you know, and it's nothing to be ashamed of, because let me tell you something. If we want to look at it, just about everybody is affected one way or the other. You know, and we're here to try and help people and let you know, no man is an island. No man is an island, and it's very difficult caring for elderly and patients with psychiatric disorders.
Sure.
It's not easy at all, and they get tired. Sometimes the relatives will say, you know, I don't want nothing to do with them. I want absolutely nothing to do with them. If you give them a break and let them, they get a break and they have time to rewind and think about it, and then they see the relative in a different light. But when they're sick, it's very, very difficult. Talking from a professional and a personal point of view, it's very, very difficult. So you have to let them know that, hey, it's okay to feel the way you're feeling. You know, it doesn't make you a bad person.
Yeah.
You know, and we're here to try and help you.
It sounds as if the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center is an important resource, because you're talking geriatric care, mentally challenged, physically challenged, young, old, and in between.
Right.
Substance abuse.
Right.
So it's the whole gamut, really.
Right. Up at Talents, we cater to everybody. You know, and we try to endeavor best, because we realize it is very, very difficult. Yeah. And if we don't try and help the caregivers, then eventually they'll become patients or clients too.
Oh, goodness.
So we let them know that, hey, we're there to try and help them as much as we can.
Sure. And
ask for our help, and we will try our best.
Just give our viewers a number so they can reach out.
Okay, Health Social Service at Sandilands number is 364-9670.
All right. Well, Salome Gibson and Dr. Michelle T. Grant, thank you so much for being on Bahamas at Sunrise. And as you are there to help, we are here to help you. So come back and see us anytime.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be back after this.
Are you behind on your real property tax? The Department of Inland Revenue is offering shelter. From now until December 2015, the DIR is extending a waiver of the property tax surcharge to registered owners of residential properties in one of two ways. One, set up a standing order or salary deduction arrangement to pay your property tax arrears and the current tax. Or two, pay your outstanding tax bill in full. To learn more, call the Department of Inland Revenue at 242-225-7280 or email us at taxinquiries@bahamas.gov.bs.
At Henry F. Store Electric Company, we supply all your electric needs for any size project, from residential housing to luxury hotels. We can help you achieve just the right look, from doorbells to chandeliers, table lamps to ceiling fans, wire, conduit, panels, dimmers, switches, plugs, and even tools. And don't forget light bulbs. We have those hard-to-find energy-saving fluorescent bulbs and more. Henry F. Store Electric, number 135 Macklin Street. Over 50 years of reliability, service, and low prices. We also ship to the Family Islands.
And now, your hosts, Romuald Ferreira and Anastasia Palacios.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point, and it has been enlightening.
It really has. It really has. And before I do forget, I asked the ladies off camera from the Department of Social Services, for those of you living in our family islands, Grand Bahama and the other out islands, there are still resources available to you. I know a lot of the conversation was focused on Nassau, but if you would call your local social services department, and depending on the severity of the situation, the local medical examiner, they're able to provide information and resources to you. For example, in the out islands, there are possible home visits available to you, and in Grand Bahama, there are support services as well. So please reach out to your local personnel for more information on how you, the caregiver, can receive just a little break. I know someone going through the situation right now, and we absolutely understand that it is so important for you to take care of yourself.
Very important. I think the underlying message is that you're not alone, and you can reach out and they will support you.
Yeah.
And that's certainly wonderful.
Yeah, it certainly is. So we've got another part of the show left for you. As my co-host says, we're at the midway point.
And only good things happen to you when you watch Bahamas at Sunrise and shake this right hand. Just remember that. But in the second half of the show, it's going to be as informative as the first. We have Up Pure Silk. It's the LPGA tournament. And we'll speak to officials from the Ministry of Tourism to see how you can be a part of it, if only just to view it.
And of course, we are the only people in the nation bringing you the weekend calendar so you can plan your weekend just right. That is a special feature of Bahamas at Sunrise. So we'll have that coming up for you. And yesterday, the Counselors Limited celebrated the 25th annual Bahamas Business Outlook Conference. It was a fantastic day under the theme A Bold Agenda. Well, we'll be speaking with Philip Simon and Edison Sumner on the takeaways for the business community, and you're going to enjoy that segment as well.
Hey, all of that and much, much more coming up on Bahamas at Sunrise. But I'll tell you something else. We are the only television show, not just to feature me, but we're the only television show that has the #1 weatherman in the country. And we're talking about Godfrey Burnside. See, he arranged for this nippy weather for you. And it's going to be nippy all weekend. So we're going to turn things over to Godfrey Burnside with your second and final look at sunrise weather.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Romain. Good morning, Bahamas. Your second look at weather. Sunrise, strong cold front approaching the area, but some prefrontal activity will cause some heavy showers and thunderstorms, particularly across the extreme northwest Bahamas this morning into the nighttime hours, moving into New Providence sometime by afternoon. That cold front should pass through Grand Bahama sometime late this afternoon and across New Providence late night, early morning Saturday. Okay, in your satellite loop, you can actually see a whole lot of clouds around moving across the stuff. And also, we can have some strong gusty winds gusting up to gale force. So we're asking small craft operators to stay in port and you swimmers to stay out of the water because of hazardous surfs over the next 48 to 72 hours. In your marine forecast, those winds today, southeasterly at 15 knots at first, seas 2 to 5 feet, but those winds will be shifting and increasing south to southwest at 20 to 25 knots, seas building 7 to 11 feet, even up to 14 feet in some instances. East to southeast at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Saturday, winds westerly at 20 to 30 knots, seas 8 to 12 feet over the northwest Bahamas, south to southwest at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet over the central and southeastern islands. And on Sunday, those winds northwesterly at 20 to 25 knots, seas 7 to 10 feet over the northwest Bahamas, 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Yeah, tides. Currently, you have a high tide that happened at 6:19 this morning. The next low tide will be at 12:47 this afternoon. High again this evening at 6:37. Sunset at 5:47 this evening. Rises tomorrow at 6:56. UV index 7. Your water temperature is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. And your moon phase, full moon. And the extended look, bring those raincoats today and tomorrow. But also stay indoors because of some strong gusty winds tomorrow for the most part, even gusting to gale force. And so those temperatures start taking a dip, so you need those jackets and blankets by Sunday into Monday, where those temperatures could drop into the lower 70s at daytime and the low 50s to mid 50s at nighttime come Sunday and Monday morning. That puts a wrap on your fun look at weather. Sunrise, Bahamas at Sunrise, be back after this short break.
Take it. All right, thanks a lot, Godfrey. The LPGA. That's right. Big time stuff here. But we're talking about a Pure Silk tournament. It's happening soon, and we're so very pleased to have three very lovely ladies with us, none other than, beginning from my left, Virginia Kelly from the Ministry of Tourism. We have Georgette Roll, who's the sole Bahamian golf player in this tournament, and we have tournament director Emily Norrell. Ladies, welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I think I'll throw the lob into the Ministry of Tourism first. Let's talk a little bit about this golf tournament, how it came to be, and the role of the Ministry of Tourism in all of this.
It came to be about 3 years ago. This is actually the 4th edition.
Excellent.
And the Ministry of Tourism, as you know, in the Bahamas, we are the co-title sponsor.
co-title sponsor.
Yeah,
that sounds really lofty. What does that mean?
Exactly. It's the Pure Silk Bahamas LPGA Classic.
Nice name.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pure Silk is the other sponsor, and the Islands of the Bahamas will be the next sponsor. Yeah. So it's a big deal for us. Certainly
for us here too.
For us here, I know, right?
Yeah.
So certainly this year we were the first tournament on the schedule, so all of the ladies will be here.
So what is the Ministry of Tourism hoping to achieve from all of this? Or what are the expectations?
The expectations, we've started off on the right foot in as much as the top players will all be here.
Okay.
They begin to arrive on Sunday, and
Wonderful.
they'll stay for the entire week. Another thing is that we have 4 days of live coverage on the Gulf Channel,
Nice.
which gives us an opportunity to put the islands of the Bahamas before that audience that we certainly looking to attract.
Interesting stuff. Of course, the tournament is coming. The players are arriving this week. That means the pressure is on you then, Emily. You're the tournament director. How are we looking in terms of the logistics? I understand that hosting something like this is no small feat.
It's not. It's a year in the making. It takes a lot of team members to complete this and bring it all together. But we're almost there. Our build crew has done a fantastic job, and we will be ready to show the world the Bahamas next week.
All right, sounds exciting. What are some of the highlights then of the tournament over the next
As Virginia mentioned, we get 108 of the world's best female golfers, and so they'll be arriving this week. We have 4 days of live television coverage. Those are the 4 days of the actual tournament rounds. But then mixed in between, we have a Kids Day, which is Saturday, January 30th.
Nice.
And we have some other fun things going on throughout the week for the players and for some of our sponsors.
Can anybody come and watch this?
Absolutely.
How's it set up?
Like I mentioned, the tournament rounds are January 28th through the 31st. Admission is 100% free. You will get a ticket upon arrival to admissions. Parking is free at Hurricane Hole next to the Green Parrot. You'll park there. Shuttles begin at 7 a.m. and we will bring you over to the course.
Interesting stuff. So parking is free.
Mm-hmm.
And admission is free. So obviously you're hoping to raise awareness then if that's what's happening.
Absolutely. That's been our goal from the very first day, as Virginia mentioned. We want to put all of the islands on the map and show the world that they can host the best of the best sporting events here.
Who are some of the big name golfers that are?
We're getting Inbee Park. She's ranked number 2. Stacy Lewis. Our defending champion, S.Y. Kim, is coming back, who also was the 2015 Rookie of the Year. She had a phenomenal year. And of course, your very own Georgette Roll will be participating as well.
All right, my very own Georgette Roll. I'm glad she pointed that out. Yeah, so my very own Georgette Roll, tell us about how long you've been involved in golf and how you feel about being a part of this tournament.
Wow. Okay. I've been playing golf since the age of 6.
6?
Yeah. So I'm
so
30 now. So
now, huh?
I know. very long time now. I mean, so it seems. I mean, but on the professional stage, like once I finished college golf, I played for probably about 3 to 4 years with some of the ladies that are coming here.
Okay.
And then I went more into like the teaching side. So I mean, I'm really excited to like be playing with them again. It's a huge opportunity. Absolutely huge. To represent the Bahamas. And I'm really thankful to the Ministry of Tourism as well. For partnering with Pure Silk and getting this thing here.
Have you been preparing for this tournament?
I have. Mostly mentally. I guess because like hitting the golf ball and so forth. Like I've been doing that for a long time. But just making sure that I stay focused. For 4 days, 18 holes. That's what, maybe 5 hours of playing. Per day, and just make sure that I stay sharp. So I've been working on that a lot.
It's interesting stuff. How do you train to stay sharp?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. I guess, there's like a program that I use. It's called Think Golf. Yeah. And so maybe for about 10, 15 minutes a day, I'm on the computer just kind of doing a lot of awareness games, making sure my intensity is up. I'm synchronizing things well. And that's been proven to help. So after this event, I'll be able to email Think Golf and let them know.
It's interesting stuff. So that means then, Emily, you must be playing that tape, Think Golf tournament preparation.
I need Think Tournament Director.
It's interesting stuff. Okay, so we're ready to go. You're saying that tickets are free. How can our viewers get the tickets?
Yes, as I mentioned, admission is free. There's various places throughout Nassau, the Tribune, John Bull, Atlantis. They all have tickets that they will provide. And then if you don't have a physical ticket, we do want to make sure that everyone has one once they arrive, so we will give every single spectator that walks through admissions a ticket.
Now you say walks through admissions. There's going to be an admission center?
Exactly. So the shuttle will bring everyone to the course. They'll drop them off at a welcome sign that we like to call admissions. They'll walk up. We'll have greeters. The islands of the Bahamas will have a tent there, and we'll get everyone the information they need once they arrive on site.
Any special dress code for the spectators or decorum that has to be followed?
Yes. It is a golf course, so you do want to wear comfortable shoes. I don't recommend the wedges or the heels, but tennis shoes is probably the way to go.
It's interesting stuff. So can we expect more of this then from the Ministry of Tourism?
We certainly can. We know that the Pure Silk will be back here through 2018, so that's a good deal for us there. But we are trying to bring more and more events like this to the islands of the Bahamas for our people so that they can participate, like Georgette, participate as spectators.
Excellent stuff. When's the start-off date?
The official tournament does kick off on Monday with a press conference, but actual tournament rounds start next Thursday, the 28th.
Next Thursday. So, ladies, thank you so much for being on Bahamas at Sunrise. Congratulations. I know it's a Hercules-type task, Herculean task to put all of this together. But you made one correct move in coming on Bahamas at Sunrise, because only good things are going to happen. So look forward to that sweet success. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. Now it's time for your weekend calendar.
Good morning, Sunrisers. This your boy Sarber with the weekend calendar. As a part of the 25th anniversary, the Institute of Internal Auditors Bahamas chapter will host a gala awards dinner. Saturday, January 23rd, British Colonial Hilton, 7 p.m. Dress code is formal. Then on Monday, January 25th to Thursday, January 28th, there will be a 4-day conference. Speakers include Richard Chambers, Terence Bastian, Emmanuel Komalafi, Dr. Delon Brennan, and Dr. Nicola Virgil Rule. British Colonial Hilton, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Pure Silk Bahamas LPGA Classic, Thursday, January 28th to Sunday, January 31st. Ocean Club Golf Course, Paradise Island. That's your weekend calendar. To have your event posted on the calendar, please don't hesitate to email us at calendar@bahamasatsunrise.com.
There's no place like Exuma.
With our striking, beautiful waters and loyalist tombs
and even warmer hearts.
And there are no people like the people of Exuma.
We are the people.
We are the people.
We are the people of people to people. Exuma.
Volunteer as a people-to-people ambassador today.
At Henry F. Store Electric Company, we supply all your electrical needs for any size project, from residential housing to luxury hotels. We can help you achieve just the right look, from doorbells to chandeliers, table lamps to ceiling fans, wire, conduit, panels, dimmers, switches, plugs, and even tools. And don't forget light bulbs. We have those hard-to-find, energy-saving fluorescent bulbs and more. Henry F. Store Electric, number 135 Mackley Street. Over 50 years of reliability, service, and low prices. We also ship to the Family Islands.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. I always smile when I interview these two gentlemen, and it's because they are so brilliant and they have so much to share with the business community and the world. For 25 years, the Bahamas Business Outlook has helped businesses around the Bahamas to have an appreciation for the country's economic outlook, while allowing persons to network and pursue new opportunities by hearing from talented speakers transforming the Bahamas and the world. This year's Business Outlook, held yesterday, January 21st, 2016, delivered on its promise of a bold agenda. And here to tell you what you missed if you were not there, so sorry, are Philip Simon, president of the New Providence Development Company, and Edison Sumner, the Chief Executive Officer of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome back.
Good morning.
Always a pleasure to have you both. And I think this is the first time I've gotten to interview the two of you together, so this is, as Rumi would say, history in the making.
Yeah, we should write an invoice to the council.
So I I want to begin by finding out from you. We started the Outlook with a keynote from the Prime Minister. It was very extensive, and he talked about a lot of the things that he expects to happen over the year. What were some of the points that both of you pulled from that you think are very important for the business community to know at this time?
Well, I mean, the speech the PM gave was so, like you said, extensive, and we were dealing with so many different topics. But I think some of the issues that are pressing remain the NHI situation that we talked about. That is still pretty much a very contentious matter. But I'll tell you the thing that I didn't hear that I would like to have heard yesterday is the matter regarding the business license fees that we've been talking about, because businesses, and Phil will know this because he runs a large company as well. I mean, the fees are required to be paid by the end of the month. Many small businesses especially aren't ready for it yet because of the new fee structure that has been imposed on them to have their accounts certified by a professional. That is something I would have liked to have heard that I didn't hear yesterday. But as far as the takeaways are concerned, I think when we talk about looking at the economic outlook, we heard about the situation at Bahamas and his optimism. I put it that way because he and I have had he and I have had some different opinions on that. I'm not as optimistic as he is, but obviously he comes from a place of better knowledge than we are generally. But it's good to know that he is optimistic about the Bahamas development and trying to see that back on stream in the shortest possible time, as he puts it.
All right, and Phil, for you, what were some of the major things that you took from his address in particular?
Well, work in progress. I mean, he is, the leader of the nation. He certainly comes from a position of knowledge. So when he speaks, you have to pay attention to what he's saying. And this is why it's always important for, small businesses in particular to at least be a part of the Outlook experience. And, so grateful that all of our basically heads of states have led off with the Business Outlook. One of the things that kind of stood out to me is that we kind of slipped in our rankings in the ease of doing business, which is critical. I mean, absolutely critical. Especially when other countries in the region are improving in this area. So, when you talk about business license fees and in fact going through the process right now, it's become, a little more difficult, especially online, and at least we are making steps towards becoming, more technologically integrated in terms of the process, but there's still a lot of kinks to work out.
I think that's something that we'll definitely have to explore, because now that I hear you say it, I think that is certainly a conversation we want to have on the show, so we can hear from the powers that be how they intend for that process to work. So thank you for that. And that's something that we will look forward to. But Phil, you said something about the fact that it's now online, and we're looking at this government system that's moving online. And we had a lot of speakers talk about new technologies yesterday. One in particular was from BTC, and he spoke about Smart City, Charles Roberts. And so I want to find out from you all, do you think we are going to be ready to be this smart city? And for our viewers, a smart city is a city that has, infrastructure all around for Wi-Fi and networks. Are we there yet? When do you think we'll reasonably be there?
Actually, I think that we are a little behind getting there. Because infrastructurally, we are there. I think the Bahamas has one of the best fiber infrastructures you'll find anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. We are probably we've got the best footprint, so to speak, in the region. So the fact that we now, and this is an initiative coming out of the International Telecommunications Union about making Nassau a smart city, where, like you said, everything is now connected wirelessly, right? Wherever you go, you can get online. You can get smart things everywhere. I just wish we get some more smart people running some of the smart things, right? But the point is that we are there, I think, to create this as the first smart island. It's certainly something the Bahamas can be proud of, look forward to, and it creates so many new opportunities for employment, for entrepreneurship, for technological advancement, to attract more foreign direct investors, because the more people know that your city and your island, that when they come in, they don't have to worry about, can they get connected, can they get and receive emails, can they get other things done. This actually creates an opportunity for all of us, and I wish, and I'm glad actually, we said this before, I'm glad to see the government embrace this the way that they have, and I just wish now that they will see it for its full opportunity and take full advantage of it.
All right. So in that panel with the Smart City, we also spoke with Vernice Joaquin from NAD, and we talked about the fact that LPIA has transformed the gateway to the Bahamas, moving us from one of the worst airports to travel to one of the best. And we also had the opportunity to learn more from Dr. Candice Deal about education reform. And we did this all in this context of this bold new agenda. Phil, for you, what is the importance of having a good airport? What is the importance of educational reform as we talk about transforming a smart city and smart people? Why does it matter?
Well, I think Edison hit the nail on the head when he spoke about smart cities and the integration of IT into all that we do. But even before you get there, you need smart people. You know, and so particularly the presentation from Candice Deal on education reform. It's not a new topic, you know, but it's a new perspective that she brought. And this is one of the things that I really appreciated about the Outlook is, you know, you have an opportunity to hear from new voices. Her research really hit the nail on the head. I mean, and we've heard this before, and we talk about the socialization of our students. We talk about, you know, the challenges that, you know, that we may have in the home that translates directly into the classrooms, etc. But one of the things that you know, kind of jumps out is really the alignment of the curriculum, the alignment of the education to industry and what industry expects. And a big part of that also too has to deal with EQ. You know, emotional intelligence and all of these different things that we seem to have fallen down on over the years. So we have a long way to go, right? We have a long way to go, but you know, many hands make a light load.
Yeah. And we know that you have civic organizations like Jay, which you're involved with, are trying to help. And the thing that I loved about Ms. Deal, and Edison, you've had some revolutionary programs since you've been at the Chamber, and you guys were a sponsor yesterday. I saw them talking about a 90-day program for, I think it was summer students, and they could come in and learn.
Right.
We really need to encourage civil society to partner with programs through the Chamber, through Junior Achievement, so that we begin to balance off that skill and education level. And I think that's what Ms. Deal called for yesterday.
Well, in addition to that, Darren Turnquist, our Director of Youth, during the lunchtime session, spoke directly to this. You know, when we were growing up, there were so many other opportunities, whether it was scouts or, you know, volunteerism through different churches, etc. We don't have that anymore. Even with Junior Achievement, you know, program that I'm very involved with, you know, we lost a couple of corporate sponsors, not because they didn't have the financial wherewithal or commitment to, but they didn't have the volunteers to participate. And that's a telling story.
I think, so while I really want to make that point then, that we need that vacuum filled, because Darren mentioned how Cub Scout leaders are like 70, and so there's this vacuum in between of people who just aren't coming out to volunteer, and we need that if we want to see the change we talk about seeing in the country.
I think part of the challenge there is that, and you know, it's not all on the volunteers, right? I think that even these youth organizations, and we know Junior Achievement, the Chamber does work with JA as well, and I'm very pleased and proud, in fact, to assist them each year with through the Chamber with some of the programs they're doing. But the organizations themselves, I'm a Boys Brigader, right? I grew up in the Boys Brigade. I retired from the Boys Brigade as a staff sergeant, but a lot of people don't know about these organizations. These young boys today, young men who are between, say, from 5 to 20 years old, they don't know what the Boys Brigade is. They might have heard about the Scouts. They might have heard about, well, the Royal Ambassadors has been dead now for many years. But we need to do more to begin again to promote these kinds of clubs, boys and girls clubs, so that we get more participation from the community, so that the young fathers can get their sons back into these programs, and that the fathers, when they get their sons in these programs, then they become some of the volunteers. They become the mentors for some of the other young men in the society. So if you look around organizations like the Boys Brigade today, and Darren was quite right, many of those men who still run those organizations are the ones that I left there. Right? You return to their meetings, the same men who were there 30 years ago are still the ones doing it today. So we do need to now extend ourselves and get younger men like ourselves and others more involved in those kinds of organizations.
A bold new agenda.
So we're talking about a bold new agenda. We spoke about youth, very passionate issue for me and for you all, it would appear. One of the other things I'm gravely concerned about as we look at the future is energy and how we use it. We know that climate change will affect the Bahamas significantly and everything about us. We spoke about that yesterday. From your perspective, two men in the business community, what can businesses do to encourage energy reform policy? Phil, I'll start with you.
You gotta scream. You gotta scream very loudly. Well, first you gotta educate yourself on exactly, because again, you know, what's going to force change is really the perspective and the data, how you present the different arguments.
Okay.
You know, businesses are failing. You know, we were sitting at the table at lunchtime, or I don't exactly remember who had said it, but he said, you know, with regards to the taxes and all the rest of the bills, that when he starts paying government more than he takes home at the end of the day, whether it's VAT, NHI, BEC, whatever, then it's time to get out of business.
Right.
We are an expensive destination, but we're also expensive in terms of the cost of operations of business. So, you know, we really have to take a real serious look at that. And if we're able to reduce the cost of operations, then the economy explodes.
Yeah.
The economy explodes.
Yeah, and I know that you're passionate about this. The Chamber had the Energy Reform Summit before.
Yes.
And so how are we holding the government accountable to what would have come out of that and the discussions coming out of that?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the Energy Forum we've had, it's 2 years now that we've had it. So we had the second annual in December of last year. And the whole idea is really to examine the energy sector policy that the government is trying to implement. We examine the legislation, the new electricity bill, and it's really finding ways that we can help the government reduce the cost of energy, look for other alternative forms of energy, right? Because, as we've said before, one of the major impediments to doing business in the Bahamas is the cost of energy. It's too expensive. The ease of doing business in this country is too expensive, and it's unnecessary. But we push it that way. Market forces has taken it to where it is, and unfortunately some political decisions have also taken it to that point. So we in the private sector business community are now trying what we can do to help to peel some of that back, right? Because of the onerous fees that we're paying. As Phil said, some companies are paying more in fees than what they're earning in profits every year. And when your business license fee is more than your profit every year, then you're in the wrong business.
Oh, damn.
Right? You need to find another business to get into.
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you both so much for coming and sharing. I feel like we get to talk some more about so many of the other things that were discussed, but time will not allow us. So thank you for joining us this morning. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you saw history in the making. Former president of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, new CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. Both gentlemen with the heart for business and for the country.
Yeah, we're the bridge. We're bridging stuff.
Y'all bridging stuff. No, y'all sound like a guy I know from the ministry. But we will be right back after this commercial break.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Are you behind on your real property tax? The Department of Inland Revenue is offering shelter. From now until December 2015, the DIR is extending a waiver of the property tax surcharge to registered owners of residential properties in one of two ways. One, set up a standing order or salary deduction arrangement to pay your property tax arrears and the current tax. Or two, pay your outstanding tax bill in full. To learn more, call the Department of Inland Revenue at 242-225-7280 or email us at taxinquiries@bahamas.gov.bs.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. And it's going to be a cold weekend and a wet one, so you better cover up.
Cold and nippy and wet. Stay safe over the weekend. See you guys on Monday.
Bye.